Here are 10 rising AI and tech projects on GitHub right now. Last 30 days skill. Researches a topic across social feeds, news, video, and prediction markets. Then writes a cited summary of what actually mattered in the past month. What makes it useful is the operator surface. You run it inside agent tools like Claude Code, Gemini CLI, or Codex, so it feels more like a reusable research command than a one-off prompt. It also calls out X authentication, which tells you the breadth depends a bit on what sources you can actually access. Insanely fast Whisper turns long audio files into transcripts locally from the terminal, fast enough that batch jobs stop feeling annoying. The workflow is basically point it at a file, pick your model and output format, and let the GPU-heavy optimizations do the work under the hood with options for chunking, timestamps, and translation when you need more than plain text. I like that the operator surface stays simple even while the performance story is clearly doing a lot. Web Flight Simulator puts an arcade-style fighter jet experience in the browser, flying low over real-world terrain instead of a made-up map. The fun part is how it stitches a detailed aircraft scene onto Cesium's globe data, then layers in a tactical HUD, combat behavior, and keyboard handling so it feels playable, not just scenic. It also exposes enough configuration to tune visuals and performance, which matters when the whole thing is running in a tab. GeoSentinel gives you a live map view of global movement, pulling ships, flights, and geodata into one operator screen for situational awareness. Where it gets practical is the mix of tracking and context. You're not just watching dots move, you're layering routes and geographic data so patterns and hotspots read faster. It also looks fairly hands-on to run, with a separate geodata download and API keys required before the full Earth view comes alive. HolyClaude gives you a ready-made AI coding workstation with Claude Code in front and a web UI around it so you can work from one operator surface instead of stitching tools together. The appealing part is that it keeps your existing subscriptions in play while bundling several AI command line assistants, a headless browser, and a big utility layer inside Docker. That makes the workflow feel more like dispatching jobs across agents, browser tasks, and local tooling without redoing setup every time. tscircuit lets you design real electronic circuits in TypeScript and React, with code changes turning into board layouts and schematics as you work. The appealing part is the operator surface. You stay in a normal IDE, use a CLI to spin things up, and can even bring AI tools into the loop instead of poking around in old-school PCB software. That web dev style flow makes sense fast, although auto-roading still seems like one of the harder parts to fully trust. Feynman is an AI research agent that turns a plain language prompt into a runnable investigation from the command line. The workflow looks pretty deliberate. You type a goal, it maps that into steps, picks agents and tools, and then shows the chain from prompt to action instead of hiding everything behind one magic answer. I like that it leans on reusable skills and workflows, because that gives you a clear operator surface when a search goes sideways or needs a different tool. Liteparse pulls text and layout data out of PDFs fast, giving you clean content plus bounding boxes so you know where everything lived on the page. The workflow is pretty direct. Run it from the CLI, batch a folder if you need to, or drop it into a TypeScript app as a library. What makes it useful for AI pipelines is that it stays local and skips the fuzzy OCR vibe when spatial structure is the thing you need to preserve. GeoAI helps you run AI on maps, satellite imagery, and other geospatial data without stitching together a bunch of separate tools. The workflow seems aimed at analysts who need one Python surface for prep, visualization, and model tasks like image segmentation, which matters because geospatial work usually falls apart in the handoff between cleaning data and actually labeling land or objects. It also plugs into QGIS, so this isn't just notebook-only map work. Modly turns a single image into a 3D mesh in a desktop app, with the whole generation pipeline running locally on your GPU. The workflow looks pretty direct. Install the app, pull in the model pieces it needs, then feed it a photo, and let the local backend handle the heavy lifting. I like that it leaves room for extensions, because image to 3D tools usually get interesting when you can swap models, or add steps around cleanup and export. Subscribe to Build Things with AI for more GitHub AI tool roundups.